Seven-card stud, also known as seven-toed Pete or down the river, is a variant of stud poker. Until the recent increase in popularity of Texas Hold'em, seven-card stud was the most widely played poker variant in home games across the United States, and in casinos in the eastern part of the country. 2 to 8 players is common, though 8 may require special rules for the last cards dealt if no players fold. With experienced players who fold often, even playing with 9 players is possible. In casino play, it is common to use a small ante and bring in. In home games, it is typical to use an ante only. Seven-card stud is the S-game in horse and similar mixed game formats. Rules: the game begins with each player being dealt 2 cards face down and 1 card face up. The player with the lowest ranking upcard pays the bring-in, and betting proceeds after that in normal clockwise order. The bring-in is considered an open, so the next player in turn may not check. If 2 players have equally ranked low cards, suit may be used to break the tie and assign the bring-in. If there is no bring-in, then the first betting round begins with the player showing the highest ranking upcard, who may check. In this case, suit is not used to break ties. If 2 players have the same high upcard, the one first in clockwise rotation from the dealer acts first. After the first betting round, another upcard is dealt to each player, followed by a second betting round beginning with the player whose upcards make the best poker hand. Since fewer than 5 cards are face up, this means no straights, flushes, or full houses will count for this purpose. On this and all subsequent betting rounds, the player whose face-up cards make the best poker hand will act first, and may check or bet up to the game's limit. The second round is followed by a third upcard and betting round, a fourth upcard and betting round, and finally a down card, a fifth betting round, and showdown if necessary. Seven-card stud can be summarized therefore as 2 down, 4 up, 1 down. Upon showdown, each player makes the best 5-card poker hand he can out of the 7 cards he was dealt. 7 cards to 8 players plus 4 burn cards makes 60 cards, and there are only 52 in the deck. In most games this is not a problem because several players will have folded in early betting rounds. If the deck does become exhausted during play, previously dealt burn cards can be used when only a few cards are needed to complete the deal. If even those are not sufficient, then on the final round instead of dealing a down card to each player, a single community card is dealt to the center of the table, and is shared by everyone. Discarded cards from a folded hand are not reused. Unlike draw poker, where no cards are ever seen before showdown, stud poker players use the information they get from face-up cards to make strategic decisions, and so a player who sees a certain card folded is able to make decisions knowing that the card will never appear in another opponent's hand. Variants: a common variant called Mississippi Stud removes the betting round between 4th and 5th streets, making only 4 betting rounds. This game also deals the final card face-up. This makes the game more closely resemble Texas Hold'em by having the same betting structure and same number of down and up cards. Another is Roll Your Own, in which 4 rounds of 2 cards each are dealt down, and each player must roll 1 card to face up, followed by a round of betting. Except for the first round, the card rolled may or may not be from the round just dealt. Sample deal: the sample deal below assumes that a game is being played by 4 players: Alice, who is dealing in the examples; Bob, who is sitting to her left; Carol to his left; and David to Carol's left. All players ante 25 cent. Alice deals each player 2 down cards and 1 upcard, beginning with Bob and ending with herself. Bob is dealt the 4 unregistered trademark, Carol the car unregistered trademark, David the 4 unregistered trademark, and Alice the 9 unregistered trademark pound. Because they are playing with a $1 bring-in, David is required to start the betting with a $1 bring-in. He had the option to open the betting for more, but he chose to bet only the required $1. The bring-in sets the current bet amount to $1, so Alice cannot check. She decides to call. Bob folds, indicating this by turning his upcard face down and discarding his cards. Carol raises to $3. David folds, and Alice calls. Alice now deals a second face-up card to each remaining player. Carol is dealt the jar and registered trademark pound, and Alice the car and registered trademark yen. Alice's two up-cards make a poker hand of no pair, K9 high, and Carol has KJ high, so it is Carol's turn to bet. She checks, as does Alice, ending the betting round. Another face-up card is dealt. Carol gets the 10 unregistered trademark yen and Alice gets the car and registered trademark pound. Alice now has a pair of kings showing, and Carol still has no pair, so Alice bets first. She bets $5, and Carol calls. On the next round, Carol receives the 10 unregistered trademark, making her up-cards KJ 10-10. Alice receives the 3 unregistered trademark. Alice's up-cards are 9KK3. The pair of kings is still higher than Carol's pair of tens, so she bets $5 and Carol calls. Each player now receives a down card. It is still Alice's turn to bet because the down card did not change either hand. She checks, Carol bets $10, and Alice calls. That closes the last betting round, and both players remain, so there is a showdown. Alice shows her cards, 9 unregistered trademark 5 yen unregistered trademark 9 unregistered trademark pound car unregistered trademark yen car unregistered trademark 3 pounds unregistered trademark 5 unregistered trademark. The best 5 card poker hand she can play is KK 9-9-5, making 2 pair, kings and nines. Carol shows QA unregistered trademark 2 unregistered trademark yen car unregistered trademark jar unregistered trademark 10 pounds unregistered trademark 10 yen unregistered trademark unregistered trademark. She can play AKQJ10, making an ace high straight, and so Carol wins the pot. See also, Poker Strategy, Omaha Hold'em, Texas Hold'em, Draw Poker. References